Welcome to Super Easy Recipes. Today I'm making Chinese style meatballs in a noodle soup using egg noodles that you can get from all supermarkets. The package often says that the noodles are ideal for stir fries and soups, but they don't give any recipe or any suggestions on how to make it. Now I've already made a video about stir fry egg noodles. The link is up here somewhere. But sometimes you just don't want stir fry. So today I'm making the alternative soup or broth for the noodles. For the meatballs, I'm using minced pork, but you can use any meat or any combination of meats. What's more important is the preparation, and I'll go into that in the video. But apart from a bit of elbow grease, they are super easy to make. The soup is not only super easy, but it is actually a super useful recipe to know. I use it all the time, not just with meatballs, but with dumplings, prawns, eggs, poached chicken, or just bits of leftover Sunday roast.
The ingredients you'll need are sugar, soy sauce, Shaoxing wine, and sesame oil. You'll need some cornstarch slurry, which is just cornstarch mixed with a bit of cold water. For the stock, I'm using half a chicken stock cube and 4 cups of water. You'll need spring onion, ginger, and garlic. For the veggies, I'm using a Roman lettuce and some shiitake mushrooms. For the meatballs, I'm using 400 grams of minced pork, but you can use turkey, chicken, or even prawns. In fact, a mixture of meats works very well. Begin your prep by soaking the mushrooms until they are soft. This depends on their size and thickness. The mushrooms are optional, and I've made very nice meatballs with just spring onion. Next, marinate the mince by adding a tablespoon or 2 of Shaoxing wine and a similar amount of soy sauce. Add a teaspoon or 2 of sugar and some white pepper and salt. Mix everything well, and the next bit is very important. Basically, you want to work the mixture very hard by throwing it against a solid surface. Do this repeatedly for a good few minutes. This breaks down the proteins in the meat and gives the meatball a very bouncy and sticky texture. This texture distinguishes Chinese meatballs from Western style meatballs. I've heard that some people throw the meatballs for over half an hour, but I usually give up after 5 to 10 minutes. Next, cut your spring onions as finely as possible. And throw it into the mince mixture. Once the mushrooms are soft, cut them as finely as possible as well. Don't discard the liquid used for soaking the mushroom, as that can be added to the soup or broth later. I'm going to keep one whole mushroom for adding to the broth while it is cooking because it is full of flavour. Toss the mushrooms into the mince mixture and add the corn flour and water mixture and mix well. For 400 grams of meat, I'm using a heaped teaspoon of cornstarch with 2 parts of water. You can now begin to shape the mixture into little meatballs. The meatballs themselves are very versatile and great for freezing. With the prep done, the actual cooking time is only 15 to 20 minutes. To make the broth, start by adding a few slices of ginger to a saucepan. And then a spring onion, roughly chopped in half. Followed by a crushed clove of garlic. I'm going to add a tablespoon of Shaoxing wine, a tablespoon of soy sauce, a few lugs of sesame oil, and a heaped teaspoon of sugar. I'm going to add the mushroom water and the chicken stock. Finally, I'm going to throw in the mushroom which I saved, and I'm going to bring the broth to a boil and simmer for about 10 minutes. Meanwhile, I'm going to cook the egg noodles as per the pack instructions. This pack from Sainsbury's tells me to boil it in hot water for 5 minutes, drain and serve. After 10 minutes or so, I'm going to fish out the aromatics from the broth. I'm going to keep the broth simmering, and then I'm going to add the lettuce and then the meatballs. The meatballs will only take 2 or 3 minutes to cook, depending on their size. But generally, you'll know they're ready when they start to float. After a few minutes of cooking, you're ready to combine the meatballs and broth with the noodles. Add the strained noodles to a serving bowl, together with the meatballs and vegetables. Garnish with the reserved mushroom, some finely chopped spring onion, and a few drizzles of sesame oil. Finally, pour over the hot soup and serve immediately.